Right, so hi everyone, this is the next video. I know I tried so hard to make sure I can record all the videos today. So hence the reason why you see me with the same tudung and the same top. Anyway, that's not really that's not really what we are going to discuss. Again, it's not about me. Okay, so now what are we going to talk about, or what do I have to explain, or what I'm going to talk to you about? Techniques for strengthening and delivering persuasive arguments. So the keywords here is persuasive arguments, right? There are weak arguments, there are strong arguments, there are persuasive arguments. So um today is basically in this video, not today. In this video, basically it gives you idea, it gives you a perspectives. How are you going to have persuasive arguments? Okay. Now, whether or not you are going to be successful with the persuasion part, that is different story, because I believe not everybody is persuasive not everybody has the nature of a persuasive person. For example, me, I'm not a persuasive person. So like when you buy things, I do not know whether or not you still go to stores and buy things face to face. I do. Other than doing online shopping, I also still go to outlet or stores or boutique to buy things. So most people will bargain their way out. I mean, bargain to the price that they want. um, I do bargains, but the very minimum. So I don't really know how to bargain. I don't really know how to bargain. I don't really know how to negotiate when I buy things. But I do know how to negotiate with some other things. Depends on the matters. Okay. Now let's continue. Okay. So why do you need to strengthen your points in arguments so that people feel convinced, so that people knows that you know what you are doing? So that is very important. Okay, that is very important, so that you don't look like you are scamming people, or you don't look like you are pranking people. So that's why you need to have a very strong points, and you know how to strengthen your points in an argument. So basically, when speakers want to agree or disagree with someone and show that they are right with it in an argument, they can strengthen their support. So basically, okay, now let's say you have an argument. You want to make your argument better. You want to make your argument stronger. So what are the things that you can do? Or what are the techniques that you can apply to strengthen or to make your argument stronger? Okay, so one is offering additional information. So the more information that you offer, or the more information that you supply, the better your points would be. Okay, so remember the cliche thing, majority wins. So yes, the more people agree to that, or the more people is at your side, the better it is, right? Number two, returning to an earlier reference. So basically, this is where, I love to do this. I go back and forth with my points. So that is just to show, how legit is my point. Okay. Number three, repeating the other person's point and saying it is correct. So this is, oh my god, this is among many things that students fail to do in their group discussion. They always say, oh, I agree with you, I disagree with you, and that's it. I don't want only that. People, give me more, give me, oh yes, Naim, I agree with you when you say this and that. However, from my point of view, I don't really think it's all true what you said, Naim. Okay, those are the things that I want you to have in your group discussion. Please give me such thing, please. Okay. Number four, giving a personal example. I think this is should be your seventh, six videos watching me, and every single video I give you my personal example, and then I will say something like, oh Rika, this is not about you, this is about, you have to explain to students what they need to do and what they need to know. So yes, personal example. Okay. And do you remember, right? Do you remember when we had the pre-practice group discussion and you had your pitching practice and pitching assessment, I always compliment and I always praise those people that incorporate their personal experience in as their content of their pitching or as their contents of their points for discussion. Why? Because oh yeah, and I remember my section 33. I think Aislinn, right? Aislinn, Ain Nabiha, and Nurin. No, no, not Nurin. Sorry, Shaza. Aislinn, Ain Nabiha, and Shaza. Yes, I can remember your name. Finally, in week 11, week 12, I remember some of your names. That's good. That's a good thing. So I remember these three, right? When they have to rank 7 items for skincare. So they were talking about their personal experience using this product, using that product, and it's not good, it's good, this and that. And they also mentioned about their skin varieties. And I applaud them for that. I praise them for that. I complimented for that because the thing is when you incorporate your personal experience in your arguments, it shows that you have experienced that, so you know things better than the rest of the people who haven't who haven't experienced what you have experienced. So that's why personal example is a very strong points for you to use in your discussion, in your speeches. And remember, what is opinion? Opinion is your personal experience. Opinion is your personal things that you have been through, that you have gone through. Sorry. Okay. Now, last one will be using logic. All right. Using logic. Um, Usually, if you need to convince and persuade practical people, logic is the best strategy and logic is the best technique that you can use, because these people do not entertain any nonsense. So they only entertain facts, logics. So yeah, you can win their heart just like that if you use logic. Okay. Now, so this is an exercise again, like the previous videos. I will not be doing it with you. You have the access to the notes. You do on your own, right? And check whether or not your answers and the supposed answers are the same or are the correct. Okay. Now, how do you create persuasive arguments? So basically, when you want to make listeners understand and agree with your point of views, with your point of view, you have to use persuasive language. So because using persuasive language will call for attention. And then this calling for attention, making people or somehow forcing people to listen to you. And when they listen to you, they will think about what you have said. And then when they have thought what you have said, and then they now needs to decide whether or not they would want to agree or disagree with you. Okay, so that is the thought process. Uh, and then when you know how to persuade and when you know how to coerce and when you know how to convince people, it makes them, it will leave them no option other than to agree with you or to disagree with you. Okay, right? So, okay, let's take example lah. Okay, same concept, different situation. Now, let's talk about salesperson. Sales executive, sales assistant, sales personnel. So let's just take a okay. Now, remember, I love Family Mart so much. Family Mart so much. Okay. So there was this one time I was still early, before my usual clock into the office. So I thought that, okay, let's just drop by the Family Mart so I can get some quick breakfast, like not so quick breakfast lah. So, but I could get some breakfast. Okay. So I bought my favorite sandwich with spicy tuna. Spicy tuna is my favorite. And then the Kani egg or like the crab egg to sandwich. Okay, so those are the two favorite sandwich. Those are my two favorite sandwiches from Family Mart. Oh my God, I could die for it. I mean, exaggerations, of course. And then I also bought two or three other buns because why I decided to buy more than just the two sandwiches, because I think I don't want to go for lunch, so let's buy things for lunch as well. Okay, and then at the counter I saw, oh, that's the bagel that I like, the cream cheese bagel. So I said, okay lah, buy cream bagel, the cream cheese bagel. Okay, and then the cashier is also a salesperson, right? So the cashier said, "Hey, Kak, if you buy two cream cheese bagel, you get 30%." So I was like, and it's early in the morning, and I was like hungry like a monster. So I was like, but I have bought a lot of buns and breads here. But oh, and then she was okay lah, fine, I'm weak. I'm weak, okay. And then it's bagel and cream cheese. I'm weak. So she was like, but it's 30%. I think 30% good. 30% if you bought two. And you can eat whenever. You can eat whenever. So I was like, okay lah, fine lah. Give me two lah, give me two. And then, okay, yeah. So the whole day I was eating my bread and students coming for assessment and whatnot. So, but I was happy. I was happy. So now, okay, why do I mention about this Family Mart cream cheese bagel thingy? Because you know when you are persuasive and when you are convincing, it's difficult for people to disagree. Like me, okay, fine, I'm weak. I am weak. I cannot fight. I cannot fight because it's cream cheese bagel. So, I gave in. I gave in and I bought two cream cheese bagel, but I turned out happy. Okay, anyway, I believe most of you are in this situation. And yeah, feel free to share with me the next time we meet in class. Okay. So creating persuasive language, right? So there are so many forms, there are so many mediums that persuasive language can take. One of them would be giving personal examples, right? Asking challenging questions. So, like some people, they got easily triggered when they are being questioned. So that is one of the way for you to persuade. Okay, I give you an example. Let's say, I think this I know it sounds really sexist, but it really happens with the boys school. Usually macam, I dare you to swim from this lake, from the end of this lake to the other end of the lake. If you are okay, usually okay. I will say it in Malay and then I will try to translate it in English. Okay, kalau kau nak jantan, you have to swim from this point to another point. Okay, so in English, the English version, if you are a man, or yeah, if you are a man, right? So why don't you swim from this end to the other end of the lake? So yeah, something like that. So that is challenging, right? That is challenging. So you are the guy, the one that is there giving the dare is actually try to persuade you. But means that is challenging, yeah, because you need to be persuaded before you can take the challenge, correct? Uh, presenting support for oppositions. So that means that you give more explanations why you say what you say. Addressing the opposing argument. So this is addressing the opposing argument is basically like reverse psychology kind of thing. Okay. Oh yeah, you can also use persuasive words or phrases such as how would you feel, or strong adverbs, for example, or adjectives, adverbs like exactly, obviously, right? So, yeah, adjectives. So let's look at some examples. So giving personal example, I will not be reading the examples for you because this is not bedtime stories. You can read on your own, but I'm just telling, whatever um the forms of the persuasive language: giving personal examples, asking challenging questions, presenting support proposition, addressing the opposing argument. These are all the examples, right? These are all the examples. I believe you would have different examples. That's not an issue. It's just for you to know. Okay, so this is another practice. You can do on your own at your own time. Okay, and I work with the practice well. If you want, you can. If you don't want, it's also no problem, because um I promise you we will have another round of discussion, group discussion, before we go with the assessment. And hope, okay, okay, Cho, I have to retract the promise part, because it comes back to whether or not we have the time in week 13. Okay? Okay. Right. So, week 12, right? Week 12, I will be looking at the scheduling, and I will build I will create the timetable and schedule whatsoever, and see whether or not we have time to have a practice before we go with our assessment. Okay? Right. So, why the advantages of you being able to use persuasive and convincing language is because, wouldn't you be happy, and wouldn't you be feel grateful that, people easily say yes to what you are saying? I I would, okay, for me, I would say it's 50-50, because like I said, I still want a contrasting ideas, and I still want people to disagree with me so that I can see a different perspective. So that's my reason. So what's your reason? Okay. Right. So I think that's all for this video. Bye.